Hey folks and friends, welcome home. I'm Madison Canary, your sour beer queer, and I am so excited to dive into a new style of sour beer today. So as I kind of mentioned in my last haul, if you haven't had a chance to watch it, go back and watch it. It's a delicious sour beer haul. As I mentioned in my last haul, one of my really big motivators for starting this channel was not only to get to talk about sour beer and develop a community around it, but also to develop my own understanding and appreciation of it. Just last night, actually, I was at a party and I was talking to someone about all that I was learning about sour beer and the different levels and how I appreciated it. And the woman looked at me and said, she's like, I just never think about learning how to appreciate alcohol. And that really struck me as something that I think is actually very important. I think a lot of us kind of cover the drinking of alcohol maybe in something that we do kind of like for fun, or we did when we were young, or is kind of immature or irresponsible in some way. And I think that can be true. I think it can be done in a level that is not mature or responsible or healthy. But I also think just like anything else that we consume, we can learn how to appreciate it, we can learn how to respect it, and we can learn how to enjoy it and create a balanced relationship with it. And so that's definitely part of my mission with this channel, is helping us all to create that balanced relationship and also learning how to appreciate the multifaceted amazingness that is sour beer and beer. So today we dive into a style that we call Gose. Now already I learned so much. I have been pronouncing this Gose, so it's spelled Jose. So I was like, hey, it's a Gose, that sounds good. It's Gose. So this is a German style of beer. It originated between 1200 and 1400 in a town in Germany called Goslar, or Goslar is what I'm going to guess. And apparently the name of the river that ran through the town was Gose. And this river had a lot of salt in it. And so the first thing that we learn about the Gose style is that it is actually a very salty, very salinous beer. Now, how it's usually brewed is the salt is added afterwards or during, but traditionally it came from the water itself just being a lot saltier. The next thing that we know about Gose is that it is traditionally 50% malted wheat and malted barley. So the four main ingredients here are malted wheat, malted barley, coriander, and salt. So the coriander is traditionally a ground up coriander and is what gives it its typical very lemony smell and very lemony scent. So the two main things we're going to expect here are going to be lemon and salt. Now this red, or this Gose in particular, Goses Are Red, comes from the Bruery, or what I know as Bruery Terreux. And they meant this as a homage to rosé. And so it's telling me, when I kind of read the little description, to be ready for almost a rosé flavor coming from it, and that comes from the oak feeders, or I believe it's feeders, oak feeders that they age it in. Another thing I've yet to learn to pronounce correctly. We're doing great. So traditionally this would be a spontaneously fermented beer, which would mean that they would throw everything into the barrel and it would interact with the air, and the barrel would be left open, and that spontaneous fermentation would create all kinds of delicious bacteria, a lot of lactic acid, and a lot of different kinds of acid. Now, fast forward a couple thousand years, we are controlling it a lot more. So now this would be a top fermented beer, and it's fermented usually with ale yeast. What I heard in all of my research is that if you have to actually assign this to being closest to a certain kind of beer, it's going to be an ale instead of being closer to a sour, which I thought was kind of interesting because I actually think of it as a sour. So what I'm expecting here: clean, simple, lemony, salty, a little bit of rosé. Is there any sound more gratifying? I submit there is not. Okay, so in the can, which I know is not saying a lot, I am not getting very much lemon or salt, but y'all know by now I gotta take the first sip pulled out of the can. It's tradition. Oh. Oh yeah. I love that first sip cold out of the can. I know that technically it's not like the way I need to judge a beer by, but I just love that first cold sip out of a can. I think it's something that you can judge your life by. So there you go. Now, traditionally, this is going to be unfiltered, so we're expected to be a little cloudier, and it would be a golden yellow. I'm guessing because of the rose or the Syrah grapes that are added, there's going to be, some pinkiness in there. And then I also read that if it is carbonated and canned correctly, it will have a long head. It's traditionally a long and lasting head. That's what she said. So, Goses Are Red. Goses? How would you pluralize that? I'm saying Goses Are Red because it's meant to be roses are red, but it's Gose style with Syrah grapes. Tart, crisp, stylish, 5.6% alcohol by volume. Definitely got a lot of carbonation. Definitely had the long head experience. It's not golden, but it is definitely very red and rosy. Oh, yeah. That is a nose full of lemon. I also definitely get the Syrah. Syrah is actually some of my favorite grapes as far as wine goes, so this makes me very happy. Oh. It is amazing how much a beer changes when you take it from the can into a cup. The aeration really just changes the experience. Now, first you must realize that I'm drinking out of an Upland Sour Airs glass. It's just the one that I had available. In time, I'll build my collection and it will always be the right brewery. But for right now, shout out to Upland Sour Ales in the middle of a Bruery Terreux video. Why not? Okay, so the nose is definitely lemony, definitely a bit of salt. I also almost kind of get like the malt in the nose. When I drink it, it's so carbonated that it hits like a soda. So it like has that effervescent hit to it, which I actually think is really enjoyable and kind of fun, and almost makes the first flavor. So the effervescence itself, the carbonation, almost creates the first thing that you taste. And after that, it slides over the tongue exactly as you would expect it to. Lemony, little bit of salty, really crisp and refreshing. Very, very, very drinkable. On the friendliness scale, Miss Madison's tried and true friendliness scale, I am going to I don't know, it could go both ways. I feel like the reason I would not put it too high on the friendliness scale, the reason I would put it at like a 3 or 4, is that it's not very sweet. So you truly are getting the lemon and the salt. You truly are getting the sour. You're not getting a ton of fruit. You're not getting a ton of sugar or sweetness. And so when I think of friendly, usually I think of things being a little sweeter because that's usually what kind of Americans especially expect from a palate and receive as drinkable from their palate. So this I actually would not put too high on the friendliness scale. If someone already knew that they liked Syrah, that they liked sour beer, or if they were really interested in trying it, I would definitely hand it to them and they would have a good experience. But if someone is like, I don't really like sours, I don't know, I probably wouldn't hand them this as their first shot. But I'm going to enjoy the heck out of it. And it is seeming to me that my next big purchase is actually going to be a keg of this. So that was my reason behind getting this beer, is not only to learn about the style, but they also sell it in kegs, and I got a kegerator back there that has a spot open, and I'm thinking that this is going to be filling it very, very quickly. I'm really excited about this. I'm excited about the knowledge that I got to learn, and I'm excited sharing with you guys, continuing to grow my appreciation. The next one I'll be trying is another Gose from a completely different brewery, so stay tuned for that. I release videos every Tuesday and Friday, and I also release them on my IGTV, so I'm the Sour Beer Queer everywhere you go. Would appreciate the like, would appreciate the subscribe, appreciate a comment and some support. I love building community and hope to see you guys all again very soon. Have a great day.